Now, I know that you did some of the streams with me and Joe last year when we looked back at the European Poker Tour. I think for many of us, we were kind of reliving stuff we'd already either been at, live streamed, or made the TV shows or watched the TV shows of. With these LAPT events, and this is season 2 of the LAPT from 09, this is unknown territory. These are uncharted waters. I've never seen any of this stuff before.
I mean, that makes it all the more exciting. A lot of the time, those super iconic EPT moments, no matter how long it's been, you're in particular are going to remember them all. But this one is just going to be hopefully a few faces we recognize. I know there's one in the pipeline for sure.
Yes.
And then just crazy play, and you know, it's a new program for everybody. So I think it'll be more enjoyable for us. Not to say that the EPT episodes aren't enjoyable, but it's just a little extra excitement.
It is. And, you know, these TV shows never aired on our side of the Atlantic. They were made very much for the South and North American markets. What we've done, as we do with all of our retro content, is we strip away the original commentary, and Fintan and I then provide a fresh perspective and react with, I guess, a 2021 poker lens to what we're going to see. Now, I'm going to warn you in advance, Fintan, and this is based on what we've witnessed in the last few weeks. Do not expect to know what anyone has in terms of chip stack. Don't expect to know what the bet sizes are. The graphics do a rudimentary job of following the action. And if you think anyone has any concept of what ICM is, you're kidding yourself. Expect people to blast off regardless and get involved in ridiculous spots with absolutely no consideration for the payout structure whatsoever.
Honestly, I know the game is evolved past that at this point, and everybody who's taking the game serious is studying a lot and they're trying to eke out every edge here and there. But I kind of prefer the street poker. I liked when there was no stalling on bubbles and people were just trying to win, and they're staring in the white of the eyes of their opponent, and they're just like, I'm going to make you fold your hand. It does not matter what I have. I'm just going to make you fold. And it's just gangsters slapping bluffs down on the table and laughing at people. Yeah. I love that stuff. I know there's a line, you can't cross it, but back then there was more characters who would just like be doing a lap around the table and high-fiving everyone. I miss that stuff.
And if there's one thing we've seen in the last few weeks, it's plenty of characters. And we have an awesome mix here of players who've never been on my radar before, players who we do know very well. And you've already alluded to the fact that Dominic Nitscher, an 18-year-old Dominic Nitscher, is in the field of the event we're covering today, plus some old faces that I'd forgotten about. Players like Jose Rosenkrantz, who we featured on last week's stream. Should say the event we're covering today is the Latin American Poker Tour Season 2 Grand Final, which took place at the Mar del Plata Resort in Argentina in April of 2009. This event played from the 16th to the 18th of April that year. Most of the events on the LAPT, pretty low buy-ins. The grand final, however, a $5,200 buy-in. So pretty high for that part of the world, especially during this era. 291 entries, a prize pool of 1.45 million, with 27 players due to get paid. And as we join the action, Fintan, 61 players remain, so we are not yet in the money. And this is my favorite type of coverage, not just the final table, not just the last few tables, but midway through, not yet in the money, following the narrative as we get down to the final 9 and eventually play down to a winner. So are you ready to do this?
I'm excited to do it.
He's excited, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited too. Here we go then with the LAPT Season 2 Grand Final from Argentina. And let's see who's at our first feature table. It's Leo Fernandez, former member of Team Pro. Maria Stern. We saw her on an earlier LAPT show. And this guy, Vincenzo Gianelli, was the runner-up in Chile. At least you know what the blinds are, right? 1,000, 2,000. Right.
I'm very, very bad. Even as someone who worked as a poker dealer, I cannot eyeball stacks at all. So,
Well, we have seen Eduardo Santi open with Ace-Queen and Leo Fernandez get it in with King-Queen. And if Santi calls, it will be Domination Nation.
I'm pretty sure there's no one from South America that's ever folded Ace-Queen pre-flop. pre-2012. Gotta get a little bit of airtime though. You don't want to just snap call. Make him sweat.
No.
He's folded it.
What?
And he folded it face up as
Long
well.
day of Fintan reads.
What rep did Fernandez have back in 09?
I'm gonna say we're close to the bubble. That's my explanation.
61 remaining, 27 paid. I don't consider that close to the bubble. Alex Brenes has made 3 LAPT final tables, one of the Brenes brothers, along with Eric and Umberto. That was a
They're all so dramatic. I love this.
Yeah. I mean, he wants you to know he's all in, Fintan.
I would have killed this hand for standing away from the table.
Aniel,
Thought that was Lex for a little second.
we saw Aniel on last week's show at the final table of LAPT Uruguay. And here is the reigning World Series of Poker main event champion, Damian Salas, in action. Pocket 8s against Ace Jack. This is looking good for Lopez. And Lopez doubles up through Salas. So Salas playing 32,800 right now. So we've got a bit of outer table action combined with hands from the feature table. Well, Eduardo Santi, we saw him raise fold ace queen. This time he's got the stars nuts, Vincent, pocket 9s.
I hate to break it to you, James, but back in 09, the stars nuts was king queen off, and somehow it got replaced by 9s. So I'm just gonna have to I'm gonna have to say king queen off was the boss back then. I don't know how it happened. I don't know when it happened. I reckon it was you and Joe Stapleton that made it happen. But you retired king queen off.
So we're going retro. This is not the stars nuts, just pocket 9s. Well, that is a call from World Series of Poker bracelet winner Maria Stern. And 3 spades out there, and Maria has the ace of spades.
Check.
And has the straight draw as well as the flush draw.
7.
Well, Santi still has the best hand, and he's betting it on the turn.
I'm very surprised to see the fold with the nut flush draw and the good shot. Stern, there's no way. Look, I know you said it's unpredictable, but if we see a fold of this on the turn, no, I might need to leave. All right, look, I enjoy it. We all have a giggle, but come on. No, sorry, Maria. Sorry, Maria, but I'm not having it.
Stern words for Maria Stern from Fintan. There is the current chip leader, Robin Chenet. Jason Skeens from the US of A is also a big stack with more than 138k. Jorge Anzuri also has a 6-figure stack. There he is!
There he is. Yes, I was going to say, how did the camera people not know to get a clip of him? This guy has his hand over his face with 8 high and Queen Jack 4. He's in for a bad time.
No 9. Do it.
Was Dominic Niche the biggest Benny Spindler fan?
Dominic Nitscher, 18 years of age, has made the trip from Germany to Argentina and is now chip leader, having doubled up there.
One of Dom's favorite things to do is to lurk in the Twitch poker streets and just quietly enter a blunder when he feels someone's made a mistake. So I hope I get a couple of moments to laugh at Dom. He probably was better at poker to me in 2009 than I am now, but just 1 or 2 hands and I'll be happy.
Okay, well, let's see if this is the day of the Jekyll. Luis has opened here with King Jack. Leo Fernandez all in again, this time with Ace Queen. I mean, I'm done. I don't know about you, Fintan. I am done trying to predict what anyone is going to do in any situation.
I'm going to guess we see a fold, which seems reasonable. Man, all we're missing is a few cigars on the table, wads of cash, the glory days.
Well, the man himself is watching the stream, Fintan. Dominic's in the chat. No spoilers. We don't know what happens. Genuinely don't know what happens. The LAPT has never really been on my radar. Probably should have been.
I'm surprised Stapleton didn't get himself a little trip down at some point.
I tell you what, watching these events, I regret it. I regret not making more of a noise and saying, please let me go to one of these events, because they look extraordinarily good fun.
But Americans know how to have a good life.
And I know that we've talked before about the time machine, Fintan. Even someone with my limited ability, if with the knowledge I have now, I could go back to an LAPT event in 2009, I'm pretty certain I could make a final table.
I thought you were going to say cash, and I would have agreed.
I was going to go as far as winning, but thought I'd hedge and go a little bit short. Now, one thing I do know that you would have accomplished as a dealer, Fintan, even though you are you undersell your ability, is that you would have dealt the community cards on the line and not over the line.
James, one of the things that I struggle with the most, like, I haven't dealt in a casino for almost 10 years, but if I'm at a live game and they're dealing sloppy flops, it gives me all sorts of anxiety. Wow, this is an aggressive move.
Yeah.
Fernandez might make the call here with 3 high.
I mean, you've been counterfeited on the turn. There's nothing you can do but fold here. Vincenzo Gianelli has a lot of props. Trinkets. And looks like we're going out into the field again, where we find a player all in. It is Juan Reverta versus Alex Brenes. And Reverta has just been outflopped.
Would you say he was reverted?
Well, the situation has reverted on the turn. Ace King, the best hand once again. That hand was definitely a double reverter for Reverta.
They're not even trying to get it on the lines, James. They're not even close.
It's tilting me beyond belief.
That's the chip and a chair story if I've ever seen it.
Chip count 500. I wonder if Martha Herrera's legs recovered. Last time we saw, she was in a cast. Bennetuil is a local. Looks like we're coming back
Have you ever been to South America at all?
to the feature table. No, interestingly, and Joe's the same, the furthest south we've ever been is Panama, when we went there for that event in 2017.
I want to go to Brazil.
Yeah.
They seem great. They just seem fantastic. I know it's not possible at the moment, but the passion that Brazilians have for absolutely everything. Oh, decent.
I mean, I know it's a worn-out line, Fintan, but right now I just want to go somewhere.
Fair. Very fair.
So we're still at the 1-2 blind level. Hector Aceval has opened here with aces. Eduardo Santi, I guess, has called with ace-8 of hearts. Oh, sorry. It's a Gibbons. It's an under-the-gun limp. Aceval has not raised. He's just called.
Sneaky. Nobody will see it coming.
Oh, wow. So we're going to have multi-way action. The graphics aren't going to be able to cope. If Maria Stern gets involved, she's going to get put above the pot graphic, and that's going to annoy me. My OCD's going to kick in. Ah!
Oh my god, they actually just fly it over to the right.
Somebody fold, please.
Scary flop for the aces. Yes, you have an overpair still, but all spades.
Yeah.
His name's Acefall and he has aces? I'm not sure about this. Is this just actors staged? I'm not sure.
I have a pair of 8s, and I'm going to bet.
You gotta protect those 8s on the turn. Nobody bet the flop.
Somebody fold, please. Thank you. Right, now we can put Stern back where she belongs. Whoa, she folded.
Stern just with the
king.
top pair fold.
And there is top set for Aceval. Checks it. 2 pair for Santi. Checks behind.
Now.
Casi pierdo por boludea.
Someone in the chat said that back then, where the player was from was a factor in how you'd play against them. That hasn't changed today. If I see a South American flag on PokerStars, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this in 2021. But let me tell you right now, I'm not folding.
So 52 players remaining. Dominic Nietzsche still among the big stacks, 216k. Alex Brenner's still nursing that single chip. Aniel Guillen, middle of the pack, 71,400, above average. And no surprise to see Brenner's all in. Jack 4 against Dominic's ace 6.
Ahora me cae el as en cuarto.
It's funny because he's got a pair of 4s. Pair of 4s. He survives.
Seguimos.
Tom looks absolutely devastated to have lost that 1.5 big blind pot. You're thinking about it for days.
Brenner's now with the mighty 3k stack. Down to 47 already, so 20 off the money, 27 getting paid in this event. There is the handsome Damian Salas. Aces and 3s as outflopped. Mark Ioli.
Tom actually sent me the hand history of that hand that made him the chip leader with the 10s, but he just re-raised from the big blind, and the 8-7 suited that we've seen, which is like 2 extra chip lead, just shoved from the button. I love this already.
Okay, here we go again. Brenner's versus Nietzsche. Queen Jack versus King 10, and there is a queen on the flop.
Venga.
Tom runs so bad.
Oh, pair of queens.
El 10 me sirve a mí.
Holding.
Un 2. 2. Venga.
Oh, wow, he survives again.
Not sure if Dom's going to be able to handle that. Look at that fake smile.
Wow.
That is a
Brenner's
scum run that we have, Alex.
now with 10k.
Sí, sí.
Down to 44 players. So Dom's still the chip leader at this point. I'll tell you what, I'm liking that black and red LAPT hoodie. Doubt we still have any in the vault, but nice. Santi opens with Queen Jack. With the rockets, with the bullets, it's Leo Fernandez.
Paga. Se retira.
Do you have any Spanish games that could tell us what that race size was?
Se retira.
I mean, the key thing to understand is that we've seen some incredibly tight laydowns, setting us up perfectly for the moment when this guy blasts off with Queen Jack.
Hola.
Oh, I'm guessing.
Santi might have made some big folds, but I'm guessing top pair has never been folded.
Yeah, and obviously Fernandez played it deceptively pre, just flatted rather than re-raised. Now moves all in on the flop, coming over the top of Santi's continuation bet.
John, what do you reckon? Will Santi ever find a fold? I don't think so.
Paga.
Santi calls. Fernandez, the at-risk player, but a huge favorite here. Okay, you always get a sweat on the turn. Santi does have outs, not the club draw, but the straight draw. And that will see Leo Fernandez double up. Not only do I like the LAPT hoodie, I'm also a fan of Leo Fernandez's denim hat. I don't think it would work for me, but it looks good on him.
James, I would love to see you rocking that denim hat when we finally return to the EPT tour. That would make me incredibly happy.
Dos dieces.
Ya te pagué. Ya le pagué. Ahí no la
Spangenberg.
No me las voy a llevar.
Pero si ya te pagué. Ya te pagué. Pagué por adelantada.
Herrera in trouble.
Yeah, that is Hugo Spangenberg eliminating Martha Herrera.
Look at them. Two total strangers in a card room surrounded by people having a little fun. What a dream.
Ya está, yo ya la había pagado, pero...
Bien, bien.
I guess we're doing the classic 2009 thing. Look, there are still 2 women left. Okay, Maria Stern opens with Ace King. Blinds are up, by the way, to 1200, 2400. Oh, Santi with aces.
We did see Stern get away from the ace-queen, but I think it's highly unlikely that we will see a fold with the ace-king. But you never know.
Pago. Ay, perdón.
Oh. Well, she did call Fintan before the button and the blinds acted.
Ah. Oh no.
Bruta. Qué bruta.
And what do you do now?
Come on, Leo. Leo, that was the quickest call I've ever seen. Get your 8s in the bin.
I mean, literally the quickest call you've ever seen when it was like 3 players out of turn.
Not the flop we needed.
Come on, put the wheel out there. Give us a chop pot. Santi's loving it.
The way,
Gets the
like
double
Dom,
up.
Dom is sweating the 10s with no backdoor straight draw or anything in sight, and this person's sweating aces on an ace 4-5 board against ace king. This is amazing.
Oh, it is. Every time.
Viene, viene. Rey.
Oh, here's the scum run. Is it going to continue? 500 chips to 31,000. Can Dom lose again? Does anyone run worse?
Brenes.
Venga,
Oh, not looking good this
venga,
time.
cuarta.
10. 10.
Venga. Ahí viene.
10. 10.
Venga.
I
10.
want to see Dom smash the table.
It is the 10!
Oh my god, yes! Go on, Brenes! Go on, Brenes! Look how angry he is! Oh my god, this is the best Thursday of my life. 500 chips and 31.
That one hurt a little bit, right? The other two, not so much. That one hurt a little bit.
Ahora nos asustamos todos. ¿Por qué no te tomas una horita ahora?
Meanwhile, it's Aniel Guillen versus Mark Ioli on the flop.
Do you think that's a bad look like you're letting me away with? Is that a little bit of Lex Feldhaus vibes from 2009? That American Lex Feldhaus. You see it a little bit? The glasses, the hair?
You know the rules of bad
Little bit.
lookalikes, Fintan. You can't compare poker players to other poker players. Has to be someone in
Lex
mainstream
Feldhaus is a
culture.
celebrity now. Come on, Lex. They're actually a bit both like Lex, aren't they? If you actually, you could say that they're twins and Lex
Like the
lookalikes.
worst card in the deck.
Aniel near enough. 3-1 favourite to double up here through
Come on,
Ioli.
Not again. Not again.
Oh, gets there.
Oh no, I would not stand within a couple of feet.
Aniel Guillen eliminated.
You're a tough player, man. I didn't want you around.
Nice,
Believe
man.
me, I don't want you around.
I know. Nice man.
Oh, that's going to make me feel better.
Yeah, I don't want you around. I'm so glad you're eliminated. Get out of here. I never want to see your face again. I have the chip lead, bro.
What can you do?
Blinds 1,500, 3,000.
Penalty.
Who have we got here? Jose Manuel Nadal, pocket sixes.
Yo tengo que ir todo.
Ace Queen for Maria Stern. She's all in.
Un raise y una línea arriba. No por ahora.
No, 10.600.
Snowmen's.
Doblen me.
And that's a fold.
Okay.
Sixes are calling. I think we're off to the races, Fintan.
Luisito, no tengo fichas. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Vamos, 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 vamos. Aso cuina.
Oh, she saw the queen and then she sees the six.
Let's have a diamond. Come on. Let's go Stern. Oh my god, let's go.
¡Qué tortura! Qué horror.
Give Maria 2 pairs and next round.
Curioso.
Those
No.
clubs.
Juega mal, juega mal. Chicos, ha sido un placer.
Maria Stern KO'd.
Gracias, Seisito. Bueno,
I'm not even sure that guy was at the same table. Just randomly came over to give her a kiss.
Just a little reminder to the chat. No matter who you are, even if you featured on this broadcast, let's not talk about the upcoming hands. Thank you.
That's right, Dominic. We're talking to you. Just because you're a big shot in the poker world doesn't mean we won't use the ban hammer. Next violation, it's over. And then we've got here Derek Lerner all in with ace-6 against Jason Skeens' ace-jack.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Pretty much a flip.
King of clubs is dead.
Ace-6 wins. Another all-in at one of the outer tables. Landazuri versus Farias.
Oof.
Lo vi antes que vos. Ya, van 2 carreras y no gano una. Tuviera 200 ahorita.
Sergio Farias survives that.
Tú las tiras, obviamente. Vos las tirás.
No, is this comeback story real?
Oh! I love a scum run. Let's see it.
This might be one of the most
This is a big pot.
ridiculous comebacks I've ever seen, Fintan. It holds!
Let's go, Brenes.
Unbelievable. What's he got now?
Ganó todo, triplicado.
He was down to 500 chips, right?
And the chip leaders.
And now he's got 65,800.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I feel back in the day people were more creative with their card holders too.
I'm fine with one tortoise. Multiple tortoise is too much.
I cannot agree with you here, James.
So Ginelli's opened with 8-7. Fernandez with ace-jack all in.
¿Cuánto es?
And I'm guessing that a count has been asked for. And we'll never know what
Don't need
he's
to see
thinking.
those cards.
Yeah. They very, very rarely animate the hands of players with a decision.
No robo, my friend. Seguro que no robo.
They just want big pots, all ins, bluffs, bad beats, comeback stories. No
Yes.
tactical
Puedes ver en
stuff.
cámara.
Get that out of here.
Es fácil.
Exactly, Rez. This poker is so ugly, and that is why we love it.
To the people saying that, I actually love this look. It gives me just lovely, nostalgic vibes.
And we are now getting close to the money. I think it just said that 35 players are remaining, and as we established earlier, 27 are going to get paid.
All in.
Fernandez all in with ace-jack. Once again, Gianelli has opened with a questionable hand.
Where is Gianelli raising from? He had 8-7 off the last hand. Now he's got 5-2 suited.
I mean,
I guess
this
maybe
whole
just trying to apply that
position
double
thing,
pressure.
Fintan, wasn't really considered very well in 2009.
No hay problema, Leo. Dale.
No es personal, amigo, te juro.
2 veces. Te juro por Dios que la próxima vez tú vas a completar solo para que digas Olin.
Bueno, vale.
It's all about playing the player. Didn't really matter where you were at the table or what cards you have. It's all about playing the man.
Lo til. ¿Ah?
No soy luz grande ahora. Que caliento, son muertos. No soy big
Mira,
blind.
aquí están las cartas, mira. Mira, estoy en til, no vi las cartas, Olin.
I mean,
No vi las cartas, Olin. Estoy en til,
He's
aprovechen.
only saying he looked at one card, right? Like, that's what Gianelli's claiming here.
I
For
don't know what
sure.
he's so angry about. He's opening with junky hands, getting shoved on and kind of bitching about it.
Ahí sí, Carl.
Maybe you see the
Gianelli has
card
kings,
fast,
doesn't he?
my friend.
This is the Tony G versus Phil Hellmuth moment. Of course he looked at his cards.
I'm not sure. I actually think he may only have looked at one card here.
Vamos a ver las cartas, porque no la había visto.
Yes!
¿Qué te dije?
Imagine playing, I assume, at least 2 days of poker. You get close to the money and you're just, all right, we're looking at one card. Poker is like this.
Take your GTO and flush it down the toilet.
Pretty sure if Dom's seen that going down, even then he'd be having his ideas like.
Oh, here we go.
Views, Alex, views, tú puedes.
Alex Brenes against
Oh
Dominic
my
Nitsche, round 59. Nitsche with the snowman. Num num. Brenes looking for an ace.
You got lucky on me so many times.
Look at him. He's leaving if he loses this one. He's ready to go.
Yes, again. Okay,
Jack.
another jack. Another jack, yes.
Oh, Dom is on edge here.
Jack ace.
I'm not sure if he'll be able to handle it.
Venga,
Jota, Jota, as.
venga, as.
Barry Greenstein, please.
As.
Yes.
Oh, 8's hold, and Alex Brenes is finally eliminated about an hour later than we thought he would be. Dominic gets all those chips back.
Too many chips. Just put him.
Did he just say too many chips?
It did sound like it. Humble as ever.
So Dominic Nitsche, the chip leader, close to the bubble in this LAPT Grand Final from Season 2 of the Latin American Poker Tour. So what do you think so far, Fintan, of poker LAPT style circa 09?
I love it. Like I said beforehand, I love the South Americans. I love their passion for the game. I love that we almost seen Dominic Nitsche walk out with one of the biggest stacks in the room if he had lost 4 all-ins in a row. It just makes me happy. This poker is what we long for and look at, and probably won't see it to this exact kind ever again. So watching it back, enjoying it, it's just a nice throwback.
Yeah, it's an awesome era for sure. So where do things stand right now? We are very close to the money. This event, by the way, is from April 2009, played in Argentina, the grand final of Season 2 of the LAPT. And at this point in time, they are down to 33 players. So we are close to the bubble. We're very close to hand-for-hand play with 27 set to make the money. Not quite world-famous bubble coverage. We're not quite at that stage yet as far as PokerStars is concerned. But nonetheless, we will see who misses out on a min cash and who goes deeper Leo Fernandez still at the feature table, along with Vincenzo Gianelli.
Gianelli's been my personal highlight so far.
And we also have Javier Benatuil. I tell you what, the trophies we've seen on the LAPT look like they could do a lot of damage if dropped on your kneecaps.
I'm sure some people might potentially find them cheesy, but the flashier the trophy, the better for me. I love them. We're up to blinds of 2,000, 4,000. Obviously, we have absolutely no idea what an average stack is. I'm going to say at this point in the tournament, the average stack is probably around 145,000 chips.
Fintan, there was literally a graphic on screen at the start of
What?
this part. The chip average is 89,000.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was too excited thinking about the bluffs. No. No. Sometimes I think I'm winning James Hartigan over, and then I just go and open my mouth and ruin it.
Okay.
Oh, Tinker Tailor, Soldier Spy, all in with Ace Jack. Benatuil all in with nines. Flip the coin, please.
Vamos, Kelo.
Well, Broadway draw.
Couple of extra heads for the 10.
¿Cuántos reyes va a dar vuelta?
Dos.
Nines hold and Benatuil doubles up. Nah, you little tinker.
Una.
I love the fact that, first of all, I butchered the fact that there was no average stack. Apologies. But I love the fact that the average stack is 21 big blinds, and the lads in Argentina and the girls probably couldn't be happier about it. The last thing they want is like 60 big blinds and impossible to get it all in.
I mean, that is something we've observed over the last few weeks. These events play incredibly shallow.
¿Cuántas tiene? ¿Cuántas fichas? No sé. No, vamos a ver.
Usted tiene 40, 50.
Oh, heading out into the field. So Tamara Benatuil, who I assume is related in some way to Javier, and Damien Salas. How he got there is questionable, but he is considered to be the 2020 World Series of Poker main event champion. And what is that? A bowling ball?
Firm line. I have no idea. Maybe it's a stress ball. Definitely a stress ball.
I mean, I like to think that it's solid lead, Fintan. I like to think that you can throw that at your opponent's skull if they suck out on you on the river.
You could not be giving... Dom was 18. I know you definitely said that at some point, but seeing it there again, wow. Dom, what were you doing over in South America at 18? I guess maybe satellites.
Yeah, a lot of satellite qualifiers in these events as we see Serrano all in with Queen Jack against Mark Ioli's King Queen. And Serrano eliminated.
That's a powerful shirt.
I mean, at this point in time, Fintan, you've got the EPT running in Europe, you've got the LAPT running in Latin America, you've got the APPT running over in Asia, and satellites up the wazoo. So many opportunities for people to travel and visit places that they probably wouldn't go to otherwise.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things always about poker. It's not necessarily traveling for the poker, but just traveling to meet everybody in the community, play a little bit of poker. There's always a night or two put on by PokerStars, and just getting to meet people you played against. It was always so much fun, and the vibes I'm getting off this from the LAPT, I'd imagine that the community aspect was somewhat similar to how it was for me when the UKIPT was around.
Yeah.
Where you were saying the buy-ins aren't always that big. Now, occasionally they would have a 5k like they do here, and the same way in the UKIPT they might have a 2k and a 5k here and there. But it was just like very cheap to get there. The satellites weren't that expensive, and they came with the hotel, and it just meant that everyone had that opportunity to play in one of these professional events, have it televised, and potentially have a run where you win a few quid. I love the man.
Nacho Barbero with King Queen. Wagner all in with 10s and out flopped.
You? Well, that's me, by the way. Ace Jack.
And Nacho will take his chips. Paying 122k. Must be pretty close to the money now, and it's domination situation here for Farias.
This poor lad wearing a Brazilian jersey in Argentina was always going to be having the locals on his back in all those situations. You better not hit it hard. Class.
Ace King holds. Oh, Walter, you're now a short stack. Sergio Faris survives. And we're heading back to the feature table. Blinds 2,000, 4,000. Action folded to Eduardo Santi, who's got Jack-9.
Get the glasses on. That's a pretty looking hand.
Suited in clubs. Aces for Fernandez.
Last time Fernandez had the aces, we've seen the sneaky slow play. It'll be interesting to see if he goes for it a second time.
Yeah, I think he's just flattered.
Last time Santi did flop the top pair. Ended up giving Fernandez a double up.
And I think we're going to be three-way here because Hector Aceval is playing pocket fives. Ace, 8, 3, just the one club. Checked to Fernandez, who checks it back. Fernandez has both his opponents drawing dead now. Desperate for someone to put some chips in this pot, and looks like Santi's going to oblige.
You know what? I don't hate it. The best ace-X answer Fernandez might have maybe the jack and the 9, the ace-9, the ace-jack. So I look, if anything, I appreciate the heart. As long as we bet the river, but it's not obviously we can see it's not going to go very well.
No. Well, Santi gives up on the river.
Fernandez got to go for something not too large, I guess, to try and hope that Santi can potentially find a bluff, potentially find a call, but it's very tough. Not gonna lie, I was expecting bigger fireworks from Santi.
Todo esto es para incrementar mi porcentaje en el premio final. O sea, es solo para eso. Es solo para eso. Voy con vos a la caja después. Cada vez que te veo medio pobre en fichas, agarro y te alimento un poquito. ¿Viste?
Well, Fernandez now has 123,000
Nada,
comfortable
Santi.
stacks as we approach the bubble.
Nada.
Wake up. Tamara Benatuil. And don't know the cards here. Know that Caprioli is her opponent. She's just moved all in.
Snapped.
Called and Domination Nation.
I told you that this was the stars nuts.
Okay. Gut shot.
I believe in the stars nuts. I said it. The jack or the queen is coming on the river. Oh, the overpowered, putting the bag on. The glasses and everything. The jack would never fail.
Solid prediction, Fintan. Golf applause for Tamara Benatuil, who is eliminated.
It's her friend, the chat asked 9-9 is the stars nuts. Look, I did come on here and make a bold announcement. But my understanding was somewhere in around 2014, 2015, King Queen off got retired by pocket nines. And I don't know who did it. I think it was probably Joe and James.
No,
when
I first do that. Don't blame me for this.
You just have so much influence on the poker world, James, that you guys are the only ones that could have retired the King Queen off.
No. The term stars nuts was alien to me until people kept banging on about nines.
I wonder what the next star nuts will be.
Well, we've got all diamonds here. It is a Street Flash board, and Skeens is all in. And Nacho is going to fold top.
Come on. What? Queen Shack? Queen Shack with the Shack of Diamonds? No. Wow, such a big lay down.
I was gonna re-raise you too. I would have probably in trouble.
So Tamara now on the rail. Meanwhile, Javier Benatuil is playing around 62k. There's a short stack, Vincenzo Gianelli. 30,000 chips at the 2k, 4k blind level. And he is all in.
Sí, pero tengo que ponerlo a este porque a ustedes dos también tenemos que atacarlo.
Too many tortoises.
I think if you're willing to go all in by only looking at one card, you get a little bit more leniency, and you get to have a couple of card protectors, James.
A couple I can deal with. There are significantly more than a couple.
Doesn't look too happy that someone touched one of his turtles.
Tú eres mi amigo.
Me pones todo desesperado.
Fernandez is a bit of a showman, isn't he?
Mirando allá.
Oh, hello. Pocket tens. I don't think Nadal's folding.
31,400.
Deuces I can understand. Tens. This is going in.
All in.
Dame la tortuguita.
Big pot. Very close to the money.
Suerte. Vamos, arriba, dos, vamos. Vamos, chicos.
Okay, multi-tortoise man. Let's see if Ace King
Vamos.
can outflop tens.
Vamos.
Yes, it can.
Eso es. Vamos. Ay, comiquita.
Vamo indeed.
Gianelli's good for the game.
3%. Vamos. Vamos. Eso es. Véngase para acá. Véngase todo.
Yes.
Vamos. Eso es. Esos son mis batallones. No pelan.
If it wasn't for the card protectors, might not have won that pot.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. So we have seen Vincenzo Gianelli before when we covered the final table from Chile. Three other players from that final also still alive in this event, including Eduardo Camia.
Although in a spot of butter here with the jacks all in versus the aces.
Yeah, there's Daniel Bezosa with the Rockets, and he's flopped top set.
Gotta see Jack Jack.
The hand is over on the turn. Bezosa's going to double up, and that's going to leave Camia pretty short, I think. Most of his chips in the middle there. Might want to squeeze that ball as he finds himself in a stressful situation. What's he left with? 15K? 16.5.
Would you have been really good at eyeballing?
Oh, I'm
back
terrible.
in the day?
I'm absolutely terrible. I've never, ever been able to estimate a player's stack by looking at it. Live reporters, they are absolute pros at that.
Magicians.
I don't know if you saw that graphic, Vincent. 29 players remaining, so that means we're 2 off the money. We're 1 off the bubble. 3,000, 6,000 blinds. Nadal all in with a jack. I think Nadal is like ridiculously short. I think whoever's in the big blind is priced in to make the call here.
Even with the 10-5 off, is that the big blind? Looks like it.
So Leo Fernandez calls. Nadal has jacks. He looked at one card.
The jam jars. The most underrated hand in poker today. People don't have enough respect for the jacks.
Watch as the 5 hits the turn. Spades not a factor.
Great turn card. Only the 10 gonna do it now.
There are 2 10s in the deck. Just saying.
But?
Team Pro.
Voy al 10 de carro.
Jacks hold.
Te dije que te pagaba sin ver.
Ya sé, yo vi un joto, no vi las dos, vi un joto.
Hice igual.
Claro.
I guess probably still not got too many chips though.
Pero tenés pick, ¿no?
Maybe enough to slide into the money and lock up that min cash, which I guess would be pretty reasonable.
Yeah, that's the key. Just outweight 2 more eliminations, and we do have an all-in. Walter Joachim at risk with 9s, racing against Mark Ioli's Jack 10 suited. Jack high flop.
He's got a 9 on his shirt. Surely he can hit one of them.
Again, not how it works.
Just like there was 2 10s in the deck, there is also 2 9s in the deck. This is high-level analysis for this high-level poker.
We've already established in 2009, 9s were not the stars nuts, and Walter falters just shy of the money. 29th place finisher takes us down to 28, meaning we are on the pure bubble of the LAPT Grand Final from Season 2 of the Latin American Poker Tour, April 2009. And we do have another all-in. Eduardo Camia at risk here. 2 other players in the pot.
Looks like the kind of flop that you don't want when there's 3 players involved.
Okay, Camia all in with King Queen. Nacho Barbero. Tables 9-4 for a pair of 9s. Oh.
This will be one of the loudest celebrations in the room if the bubble bursts. Attention.
Spade draw?
Needs a spade, a king, or a queen, or is going to bubble.
Squeeze that ball. 8 of clubs on the river, and that's it. The bubble has burst. Eduardo Camia out in 28th. The final 27 all lock up at least a min cash.
I was expecting louder celebrations from the lads in the room, I'm not going to lie. Alright, we're getting there.
Got kisses and everything. He's definitely squeezing that ball now.
So far in my life, I've never been the bubble boy in anything significant in live poker. But that walk, when you do bubble, must be just one of the worst walks.
So obviously we now have the post-bubble bust-out bonanza, and we can see a 3-way all-in here with 2 players at risk. That is an open-ended straight draw for DeBerti. Aceval currently ahead with a set of 8s.
Gives Nadal a slight chance to make the full house on the turn.
Oh, it's the straight on the river! And a double KO. Love the fact that DeBerti's come dressed as Che Guevara. So Vidal out in 26th place, Hector Aceval out in 25th place, DeBerti up to 67k. Do you know who else has 67,000 chips, Fintan? Vincenzo Gianelli.
Gianelli strikes me as a gentleman that is probably pretty happy to have got the min cash. I'm not sure why he was in such a rush so close to the bubble with the all-in blinds, but maybe now that he's in the cash, he'll take it a bit more serious. Or maybe we're going to see fireworks. That is a healthy stack, Dominic.
So yeah, both Derek Lerner from Canada and Dominic Nitscher, 18 years old, now at the feature table. Blinds 3,000, 6,000. And raise coming from Jaime Atelanov. It's opened with ace queen, and Leo Fernandez has got kings.
Cut off the throwing away.
All in.
Fernandez has slow played the aces a few times. We're not going to see a repeat with the kings. It's going to go all in.
And that was a very quick fold from the ace queen.
I know poker lookalikes aren't allowed, James, but would Benny Spindler be older than Dom? Like, would he have been on the scene before? Is that where
Yes.
the hairstyle inspiration would have came from? And obviously,
I think they're probably pretty similar in age. 2009, that was the year Benny Spindler made the final table of the PCA main event. So Benny Spindler has already had like a 7-figure score at the start of this year.
power must have been in the hair, and Dom was trying to copy it. As we see the all-in.
Oh, deal the bloomin' flop on the line, please. Just one time. So tilting.
And the Zori gets there on the turn. I'm not sure how we got all in with the 7-4. I guess it's a pretty short stack and a small pot.
So that is the elimination of Javier Benetuil out in 23rd place. Cashes for just over 14K. And Jorge Landazuri now playing 341,000.
It's nice to see over in South America that you don't need to be 18 to play poker as well.
Well, a lot of Argentinians still in the field in this event from Mar del Plata in Argentina, including Damian Salas, all in with ace-8 against Ioli's ace-6.
Got a couple of shop opportunities.
Ah, it is a chop pot. Come on, Fintan, you know what to do. You know what they say.
Okay.
Everyone loves a chop
pot.
pot. Good job, Fintan. Well done. You didn't butcher it for once.
So, would that have sounded to the stream like we were in sync?
Yes. I hear what they hear.
God. That was that might have been the greatest one I've ever done then. I thought I put a bit of a tune to it as well.
Guys, you're not being very generous with your scores. You have to remember it's Fintan. You automatically add 2 as a result.
I've been here for nearly 4 years, and if I get over a 3 out of 10, and he's laughing at first.
So Farias doubles up through Santi.
I don't think I'd be able to be mad if I lost the pot to any of these gentlemen if they start getting the rail going like that.
And we are back at the feature table. Pocket 6s folded. All right, Mop Top, what are you going to do? Folds. Round to the Tinker. He's got King Queen and all in. Vincenzo Gianelli has ace, jack.
That's going to be good enough.
All right, let's test your theory, Fintan, about King Queen offsuit being the stars nuts in 2009. I mean, we've tested it once. Didn't work out.
I didn't realize that pot was going down until the flop was already out. So this is the first proper test.
All right, all right.
Vamos a las minas. Vamos, Pitirino.
That looks like a confident man.
Eso es.
Oh, that's a bit of trouble. That is a little bit of trouble, chat.
You think? 3%?
Beautiful.
But if we salvage it from here, I will expect an apology from everybody in the chat.
And it's over on the turn.
All right, look. Maybe I'm getting the years confused. Maybe there is a different stars notes because as much as I can remember, we've seen 9s a few times on this broadcast as well.
Vamos, vamos, vamos.
Tinker is eliminated in 21st place. So 20 remain, all guaranteed at least $14,000.
I'm absolutely positive that you would have told me at some point what was for first place.
I haven't. I haven't.
Oh.
381K.
That is a big amount, man.
Six-figure scores for the top four. We have got Derek Lerner opening here with King 7.
A little bit spicy. A little bit on the wider side. No respect for Dom on the button.
Gets shoved on by Leo Fernandez with ace-8. That'll learn you, Lerner.
I don't think I can call.
Thank you for that, Lerner.
Actually, I can't call. I'm going to take a minute.
What?
Why?
Oh my god, the Hollywood. All right, so here's the thing. I love 97% of the antics from 2009, but the Hollywooding was worse, wasn't it? I forgot about this.
I mean, they're shipping ace-10 from ace-8 offsuit. Have me beat. Have me beat.
What did they have, like king, queen?
I'm not going to say what I had. Just so horrible. It's horrible poker.
What you're saying is pretty horrible right now. Also, why would you come to the conclusion that you can't possibly call and then say, I'm going to take a minute? If you've reached the conclusion that you can't continue in the hand, fold. Let's have another one. Okay. We've got ace-king for Lerner this time.
I'm all unprofessional if I anti-serve people. Probably right. A little bit. It was a long time ago.
Tough for anyone to try and play back you now.
60, 75.
What is it?
You want to count?
But you say 65?
I'm not sure. I'm really tired. I'm not sure. Probably 75.
Much more. This is almost 100,000. What are you talking about?
I'm trying to get you to call.
He said only 60,000.
No, it's 60. It's not 70.
You make me stay, my friend.
80. 83.
A little bit of an angle there with the ace-king, maybe saying 60,000 a regional.
91. Close 60 was
wow.
close.
You say you make mistakes sometimes. Everybody can make mistakes.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah, what do you think? Honest mistake, genuine fatigue, or underestimating your stack as an angle?
Honestly, oh, I don't want to call anyone a liar, but I bet my life that was an angle. Wait, what?
You didn't look? What do I
It
have?
seemed a little convenient the way he went about it, and he doesn't look that tired to me. Looks nice and perky.
Diamond and hearts.
Spade, what I had last night.
We have the problem.
Mario, that's why. What should I have?
Nice one.
Oh, Derek.
60,000 only. 90,000.
I really thought it was like 71.
Leo's well aware of what was going on.
Well, if you thought it was 71, why did you say 60?
Quiero un ángelo, demuestre esa mano mágica, Vamos a usar la
Just
mía,
love the players that are standing up before the decisions were made.
Una para Monique, una solita.
I love it. I'm all in.
Vamos a ver, Dame una J, dame.
También un 10.
Dame una J, quiero. Una J, un 10. Dame cualquier
How
cosa.
can ace-queen possibly lose here?
Possibly verging on too many outs.
Oh, wow. Fours hold. And Julian DeBerti is eliminated in 19th place. That takes us down to 18. That takes us down to the final 2 tables of the LAPT Season 2 Grand Final. Yeah, I think the funniest thing about that, let's call it angle, was that even if you thought you had 71 rather than 91, why did you say you had 60? Either way, you're being, shall we say, economical with the truth?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's being quite generous. Just the way when he called his stack out and then said, "Oh, I'm so tired," it just, it just seemed a little bit on the dicey side. What's your view on it when people are asking for stack counts? If I'm on the table and someone asks, I'll always give my best guess. But I know some people are just like, I don't have to tell you. Eyeball it.
Yeah, and just to respond to a few people who are pointing out that Leo Fernandez asked for a count with 10-5, I believe that Fernandez asked for the count before looking at his cards, and a lot of players will do that. They will actually ask to know how much it is before they actually check their cards. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, Fintan. It is allowed, it is slightly annoying, but I guess it's only really annoying if then 3 players later someone else asks for a count.
I think it's fine once in a while if the players are legitimately refusing to help you see their stack clearly or just won't answer when you ask. If you need to occasionally ask the dealer for a count so that you have an idea what the stacks are on the table, I don't mind. But if you're the kind of player who's doing that every time before you look at your cards, you're just going to slow the game down and it's just not going to be as fun for everybody else.
Yeah. Now, Fintan, look, I know that movies aren't really necessarily your bag. I'm sure you're aware of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, though. You're aware that Marvel Studios keeps knocking out all of these films that are all interconnected.
Yes.
And yeah, right. Okay, well, on this week's Poker in the Ears podcast, we spoke to someone who has co-written the screenplay for one of the new Marvel movies, part of Phase 4 of the MCU, Marvel's Eternals, which is going to come out in the next 12 months. His name is Ryan Firpo. I guarantee, Fintan, you have seen some of his work. Not
for sure
necessarily Hollywood movies, but this guy directed all of those mini docs that PokerStars used to make about members of Team PokerStars Pro online. And I worked out that the last remaining pro on the roster who had a documentary made about them is Felix Schneider's. There was a short film about Felix called The Teacher that Ryan made back in 2015. Everyone else has since gone on to other things, be that Nanonoko, Mickey Peterson, Jorge Limon. But there was a series of these short films. Ryan made
Tom
those.
Grafton was in that, I think, actually.
He was. You're right. And we talk about that in the interview with Ryan on the podcast. But Ryan also directed the poker documentary Bet Raise Fold, which is about the moneymaker boom and then the events of Black Friday and how that affected the industry. But yeah, he obviously has always had aspirations to actually work in proper cinema. Writes a lot with his cousin. The two of them were hired by the team at Marvel to do the screenplay for The Eternals, which is directed by Chloe Zhao, who won the Best Director Oscar a couple of weeks ago, and that movie is going to come out very soon. So we're calling it From PokerStars to the MCU. It's a really fun interview, really good chat with Ryan, and that podcast dropped today. So if you want to check out the latest episode of Poker in the Ears, it's available in all the places where you get your audio podcast from. If you prefer to watch the interview, I think that the video version of our chat with Ryan will drop on the PokerStars YouTube channel this coming weekend. Okay, enough self-promotion. Let's get back to the final table. Not the final table, the final 2 tables of this LAPT event. Just a reminder of what we're covering this week. It's the Season 2 Grand Final from Argentina, from Mar del Plata. It was played in April 2009. 17 players remain. That means someone got schlooged in between the end of that show and the start of this one. And right now, Mark Ioli is the chip leader with a stack of 450,000. Average stack is 174k. Got that, Fintan? Clocked it? Good. Let's get back to the action.
174, yes. Obviously, this is somewhat continuing the chat you were just having, but there was a lot of talk when Queen's Gambit came out. How could you do a show? I'm not sure if you followed any of it on Twitter, if you're going to do the poker world.
Yes.
If you were going to do it, what is the character that you think could appeal the most to mainstream? Because I don't obviously think it's an online kid who started playing when they're 18 and just was a millionaire by 23. Like, I don't think that's the story. I mean, Chris Moneymaker is the closest thing that comes to my mind straight away. But what would you, in your mind, how do you think if you're going to appeal to a wide mainstream audience and make it so it's capable of lasting the length of a series on Netflix and not just be, you know, a 1 hour show? Like, would you have any ideas?
They definitely need workshopping. It's not something that I don't have a pre-thought out idea of what it could be.
That's fair. I love putting James Hartigan on the spot. I ask like the toughest questions. Do you know who won the 2008 EPT and also who got 6th place, James? And you just sometimes you'll know. I just pull it out of nowhere.
I could name pretty much all EPT winners from 2008. 6th place finishers. I would just make up names and you would have no idea that I was wrong. Like you're going to cross-reference it.
Fair point. It's a fair point. If you say it with enough conviction for most things in life, especially before everyone had internet on their phones, you could spoof a lot. Like confidence was key. You just reply. Someone asks you like some question, you just give a confident answer, and they have to wait until they're home to get on their dial-up internet and check it out, or they'll get a book out. They're gonna believe you.
So Fernandez is open with King Queen. Oh, Felix's ears must have been burning. He's in the chat. Are we still waiting for people to act after this raise from Fernandez? His hand is going on for an eternity and we're still pre-flop.
Oh, raise and take it as well. That was well chosen by the editors.
Love the fact they're raise and take it's in these old school shows. Rodrigo Caprioli is all in here.
All in.
And there is a reshove from Mark Ioli. Caprioli at risk with Queen 10 and up against Kings. Oof.
Not the best spot for the Queen 10 and not the greatest flop either. Okay. I will say that the cards are getting closer to the line, I will say.
No. They're now on the line, but they're now the wrong way. They're touching the bottom of the line rather than touching the top. Deep breath.
Oh, that is actually a terrible looking board. Like when they flash back to that turn.
Anyway, Rodrigo Caprioli out in 17th place, cashing for just over 17.5 grand. Mark Ioli chip leader with more than $500,000.
I love how much effort Mark put into his shirt. Going down to play some poker in Argentina and just rocking that shirt. Almost like Pablo Escobar in his prime.
We've got 4K, 8K blinds, and we've got a raise from Dominic Nietzsche, and we haven't seen Dominic's hand.
Classic Dom. I ask him all the time to share his strategies and he won't.
You have a good hand?
I'm not sure.
Not really, huh?
I don't know.
You have like queens or something, dude.
Maybe.
Is this a case of the whole card cameras were blocked, or has Dominic genuinely not looked?
No, I reckon Dom isn't the kind of lad to be raising blind final two tables.
Cool. I love the idea of an arrogant 18-year-old thinking these players suck so bad I can beat them without looking at my cards.
I have 90, yeah, I can. If I can shove.
This is the Argentinian Fintan. Benyon. Close. It's definitely not pronounced like that either, is it, James? Go on, tell me how you pronounce that name.
Fenin?
Okay. I usually wait until James says the name before I butcher it.
The guy with a full house, there you go.
I think Dom's going to struggle to win this one. Would be my guess.
I don't know. People have folded strong hands today.
Oh,
Can't be
my
too
days.
careful.
I call.
What am I up against quad aces?
Nine high.
What do you have?
9 high, Dom.
You have 9 high,
On
you
the
said?
what?
Nine high.
Like a boss.
You just saw you got the live reads. Check the 9 high versus the full house. Wow.
I love it. You get spewy, you advertise the 9 high, and then you pick up kings. Yeah, good point, Resin. He announced it like a winning hand. Can you imagine? 9 high. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Looks like we have a re-raise coming in here from the 210s. Oh, excuse me, the king 10. That's even worse news.
Vincenzo Gianelli.
How much you get behind? Direct. I'm all in.
And I think that's where the hand concludes.
We did see Gianelli shoving blind earlier on when they had a single king in their hand.
Fintan,
So-
he's not going to call it off with king. What am I saying? Let's see what Gianelli does here.
Go ahead, it's yours. Okay.
The man with too many tortoises lets the king 10 go.
I say ace deuce.
No, 9. He has 9.
You'll see it on TV.
Yay, we're still in the era of people telling them that they're going to see it on TV. So these are the chip leaders right now. Mark Ioli with the biggest stack. Dominic Nitcher sits in second ahead of Jose Nacho Barbero. And these are the short stacks. A couple of players, including Damian Salas, in the danger zone. Danger zone! And three-way action here with Sergio Farias all in.
Call.
Mark Ioli kind of looks like he's in the zone right now, but is behind with ace-jack. Farias in a good spot to double up here. And another poorly dealt flop.
This looks like a pretty big flop. Some chop opportunities on the turn, though. I'm ready to get a 7 out of 10 if it's required.
So much support for Sergio Farias as he doubles up.
Especially with like 50 in the pot already. 81.
James, could I ask you something as a man who's a couple of years older than me?
Significantly
Would
more
that
than a
be
couple,
okay?
Fintan, but go for it.
So this week I suffered my first ever 3-day hangover. Today's day 4. Starting to feel back to myself. And I'm just wondering, is this a team that's going to continue? Do your 30s
Yes.
The hangover's just getting...
It doesn't ever get better again. Literally, the moment you turn 30 is the moment when you start suffering horrific hangovers, and it never gets any better.
Because I've seen you having a couple of drinks and then putting on the utmost professional performances, but do you
Doesn't
have a
mean I'm
limit
not
when you're...
puking behind the scenes, buddy.
I am in a horrendous way. I was horizontal for 3 days almost. Just getting back to normal though.
Show me one.
No information.
It's not friendly table?
Not fair.
It's not friendly table?
Final question about the hangovers.
Okay.
Do they continue to get worse, or is it just you kind of hit like rock bottom and it's just that's it? Because I need to know if I should just give up alcohol, James. That's what this is
Buddy,
coming down to.
that's pretty much where I'm at in life. Everything gets worse the older you get, and I rarely drink now. Rarely. So Mark Ioli still tops the leaderboard. Jaime Telenov, the shortest stack, which is 16.5K. What are the blinds right now? 4-8?
You see the all-in from the King 10 suited.
Yeah. And this could get called very light, especially by the big blind. Alphonse, with Jack 6.
I don't know.
Looks like we're going to get a spin.
Jaime Telenov at risk. And it's a jack high flop. And it's over on the turn. Oh, brutal. Alphonse looks so guilty as Jaime Telenov is eliminated in 16th place, taking 17.5K, just over $17,500 back to Uruguay. What's happening over here? Oh, it's our friend Dominic Nitscher. Up against the chip leader. Wow, these are the two biggest stacks.
Dom not showing his cards once more.
No, this is the outer table. We don't have the whole card cameras here. Not his fault. Leave him alone. Just berate his haircut instead.
I'm all in. What? I said all in. Call.
All in and a call.
Wow, what a big paw.
First and second in chips. King Queen versus King 10? What are you two doing?
Hold on a second. Excuse me? That was the quickest call I've ever seen with King Queen.
Yeah, I just knew I knew a fold that was coming. I made up my mind I wasn't folding.
He made up his mind he wasn't folding.
736,000 chips. I'm pretty sure second in chips. All right.
Oh, hello. Any arts about?
That is a sweaty flop. Almost an exact flip for a massive chip lead. Final two tables.
And there's the hot on the turn. The ultimate in domination rotation. Ioli crushed. Snap calls it off with King Queen suited. Is somehow ahead and loses to Dominic Nitscher's heart flush. And Dominic now chip leader with more than 736K.
Look at his little smirk and his smugness. You can tell that he feels like he deserved to win because the player called it off with the King Queen. Wow.
Now we rejoin this table where Damian Salas is all in.
All in.
All in.
Mark Ioli reshoves. Salas with kings, Ioli with Queen Jack. He likes suited Broadway cards, doesn't he?
A little bit of hope on the flop.
Salas, 9-1 favorite to get the double up. And Salas survives. Still rocking the orange shirt.
It looks like has an okayish stack as well after playing one huge pot and one pretty small pot.
Yeah, but no longer the chip leader. Dominic Nitsche now at number 1 with 15 remaining.
Let me look at you for a second. Oh, it's such a nit. I fold. Such a nit.
So runner out of the way. The action is on Alphonse, who's got ace, king of diamonds. Fernandez has opened with 5-3 off. Classic Fernandez.
I'm guessing Fernandez at this point had a reasonably large stack, and we have seen ace king flatted free.
Check.
What do you think the line is there for?
If this was happening in an event that you were working on today and you have direct access to the floor, would you have the dealer told
Yes.
rapidly? Yes, yeah, I thought
the
so.
first time it happened, yeah. To be fair, these days, I mean, again, I don't know what happened on the LAPT, but certainly on the EPT, the dealers, if they've never dealt a TV table before, are briefed before action starts. I mean, there's certain things you need to be aware of, like in terms of dealing flops, turns, and rivers in all-in situations, taking their cues from the gallery, that kind of stuff. But yes, the basics of this is where the cards need to be. This is where cards need to be in all-in situations for the overhead shot. This is where the pot needs to be. It's show business, Fintan.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Well, I'm not sure Alphonse is going to love the way he played that. Let 5-3 get there on the river.
Ace king suited is a very strong hand. Probably should put a few more chips in at some point.
Oh, wow. We've got Eduardo Santi all in. We've got Damian Salas all in. And decision is on crowd favorite Sergio Farias, who calls. And I think Farias has both players covered. We've got ace-8, we've got sixes, we've got ace-jack. And it is a jack-high flop. Oh, why is Santi celebrating the 8? Look at all 3 cards, buddy, before you get excited.
There's Salas and Santi, who are both at risk here and not looking in great shape to survive. Double elimination on the cards unless we see a 6 on the river for Salas.
Well, Santi's drawing dead. Santi is out of here. Salas needs the 6 to survive. Doesn't hit. And the crowd goes wild with that double KO. Damian Salas, 15th place finisher. And Eduardo Santi, 14th place finisher, both cashing for $21,160. Damian Salas, never seen or heard from again. Blinds up to 5,000, 10,000.
First one was very good.
Very focal.
Leo Fernandez, 7-6 of hearts.
I would be shocked if Leo folds this one, given we've seen the raise with the 5-3 off. A more reasonable open.
Queen 10 of hearts for Jason Skeens. And it's King 6-6 on the flop. Trips for Fernandez. Full house now, which means Skeens is drawing super thin.
Couple of chop opportunities, but not looking too likely.
Yeah. Too many combinations of full houses now.
I guess Fernandez at this point needs to start trying to put a few chips in the middle. Nope.
Determined to get a bet out of Skeens, and looks like Jason will oblige.
27.
Little half pot on the river. I would be shocked if we do not see Fernandez raising. Just when both players. Just the call?
You got it.
Can't be too careful, Fintan.
Yeah, I guess probably not going to call with too many worse hands on the river, but I would probably raise when I went check, 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 check.
They can't kill me.
Yeah, and then you get shoved on and you throw up in your mouth, right?
Yeah, but like nobody's gonna find that bluff. So if you raise and they shove, wow, what a chip lead for Dom A. 794,000, and the closest is Sergio Fires with half that stack. 13 players left. Wow.
Derek Lerner now the low man with 93k, 13 players remaining. There is former chip leader Mark Ioli, not involved in this hand. It's Dominic Nietzsche versus Jorge Landazuri.
I wonder if Mark had won that pot, would there have been MTO instead of DTO? That could have been the difference.
Did you really say 100? Oh my god.
You said 100.
I thought you had a skin with me. Jesus Christ. Oh.
Tom getting a little bit more vocal. A little bit cheekier now that he has the chip lead.
He's a very cheeky chappy.
Yo tenía un rey.
Back to the feature table.
Claro.
It's a new game. It's a new game for them. Yeah. He knows you have
33.
We have Rodolfo Awad opening here with jacks. Alejandro Rodriguez all in with ace queen. I suspect we'll have another coin flip on our hands here.
Yeah, neither player are going to be folding the jam jars again. An underrated hand, but I've said that a few times today and it hasn't gone too well for the Jags.
Awad calls, and we're off to the races.
Yeah, I thought you had 10.
Well, chose Jack.
Vamos. Vamos. Vamos.
Yeah.
Vamos. Chiquitita.
Looking good for the jacks.
Chiquitita calling for low cards.
Vamos.
Couple of chop opportunities on the 8th turn.
Un dos.
You see a 9 or a king, or the jacks are going to win.
Pero va a salir un dos, el dos de tres. Vamos.
Definitely the best anyone's ever played jacks in the history of poker. And Alejandro Rodriguez is out in 13th place. Down to 12, 2 tables of 6. Mega trophy, mega star, mega bunch of roses. What a prize package. Plus, as we established earlier, more than 380k for the winner.
All in.
All in.
We have Gianelli all in. I wonder if only looked at one card again.
With
A
the
pretty close
battalion
spot
in the front.
when we see a shove on the button for what I guess is around 10 big blinds. The king 10 in the small
If
blind.
I had like a little better, I would snap
Given
call.
how wild
Snap call
Gianelli's
a little
been,
better. He might still have a hand.
I might call. But I wouldn't be so vocal and so visibly pained by a close decision when there's another player to select.
Pass.
Is there any significant tell from either the number of turtles or the placement of turtles to the strength of Gianelli's hand?
I can look.
No, everybody.
I haven't noticed so far.
He has me beat. How close is that? I probably should be calling there. I don't know. I have king 10 off.
25. 25,000. 25,000. Aumenta, raise.
Still at the 5k, 10k blind level, and Gianelli back in action.
Keep an eye on those turtles.
Nope, folding this
Wait.
one.
Was that ace jack?
I think it was ace jack.
I'm very confused.
What a read, folds
Oh my
ace
God.
jack when the player to act after you has aces. See, it's not about the cards, it's about playing the player, it's about reading your opponent, Fintan.
Or maybe he just had a good view of the cards on the direct left of him. Controversial. Lerner has been so vocal, and now we don't hear a peep.
I have aces.
Show.
I have pocket aces.
I believe you, but I want to see.
Show.
I have pocket aces. Turn it up.
Enséñalo, güey. Enséñalo.
Turn it up.
Enséñalo, no hagas eso. I saw you. I feel that something will be happening here.
Oh, he felt it in his
That's
waters.
those live reads.
See? You mock. Spangenberg all in.
We have Landazuri please stack his chips in 20s instead of 10s.
Oh, it's sweet.
Got another flip situation, and this looks like a pretty big pot. 311,000 in the middle. It's deuces versus ace-5, which are pretty wide hands given that we are final 2 tables, almost on the final table bubble here.
And it's an ace-high flop, not looking good for Spangenberg. And just to quickly answer Hax's question, note the Gibbons and double Gibbons weren't invented until 2010. We are still 12 months away from that becoming a thing. How stressed is Landazuri? He's not even at risk here. That, let's see, Hugo Spangenberg eliminated in 12th place. I don't think he's going to change how he stacks those chips, Fintan. It's how he rolls. Dominic still the chip leader. Landazuri now second in chips. Have got a couple of shorties, Fenin and Ioli. And this looks like Ioli's downfall. All in with sevens against the kings of Farias. Is it always coming siete for the former chip leader? Oh, Farias' rail was amazing. I really hope this guy's to the final table, Fintan.
Diving on the river, or it's all over for the former chip leader. Wow, did you hear that? I think I just heard Dom on the table muttering under his breath, that's what you get for playing King-Queen.
An 11th place finish for Ioli. Oh, the final table rail is going to be so awesome if Farias is one of the last 9. And Ioli bows out in 11th, cashing for just shy of $25,000. So we are on the final table bubble now. They play a 9-handed FT on the LAPT. Next player out will not be returning for the final day of this 5K Grand Final. Wow, the needle, 12 years later from Dominic. Ioli looks lost.
Dom has a lot of anger pent up inside of him if he's still Andy sweating 12 years later.
Oh,
I enjoy the pettiness.
Schemes all in with ace-6. Pocket kings for Vincenzo Gianelli. Get those tortoises into the pot.
I call. I call. I call. I call. I call. Vamos! 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 Vamos!
Look at the size of that bum bag.
He's got so many hidden turtles, we haven't even seen them all yet. The South American players have not let me down with their antics at all.
Good luck, eh? Vamos, firmeza. Vamos. Sí.
I mean, not only is that flop not on the line, the dealer's head masked it. Dude, come on. You're killing me. Trying to make entertainment here. Gianelli an 85% favorite, but there's the ace on the turn.
Oh no. The heartbreak. 11 players left in your hometown, I think. And you see ace on the turn to give you only a 5% chance of surviving. But the absolute scenes if we see a king on this river.
The river card. Will it save Vincenzo Gianelli? No. Pack up your turtles, pal. 10th place finisher. Bubbles the final table. Huge celebrations in the room, though, because the final table is set. 9 players will return for the final day of this tournament and play for a first prize of more than $380,000. Farias is among them, the hometown hero.
Go on, the lads.
They are loving it, and you have to admire that enthusiasm, you have to admire that passion. And I know we still get the occasional rowdy rail in poker, but we don't get that anymore. We don't get those huge crowds these days.
Honestly, I feel like I was part of some of the rowdiest rails. It was many years ago at this point now. Even then, it was 5-6 years ago. But when Kev, Torino 2000, won the UKBT in Dublin, and when he had the London EPT final table, which I'm not sure who Feraldo was on the rail for, but for Jay Cody. And those, I know for some players it's distracting and it's a lot of money, but I love it. I just think people having a few drinks and celebrating their friends' successes and just letting loose and having a few chants, I think it adds to the atmosphere, and it would be better for everyone if there was more of it. But I understand it can be troublesome if some players are distracted.
The danger is we're bigging it up. I don't know what this final table is actually going to deliver in terms of emotions. I think it should be a good one, though, and we do know that coming into this FT, it is Dominic Nitscher who leads the final 9. And worth resetting the stakes, Fintan, and also resetting what we're covering today on PokerStars Retro. We've gone back to April of 2009 to the grand final of Season 2 of the Latin American Poker Tour. It's LAPT Mar del Plata from Argentina. A 5K buy-in, a prize pool of nearly 1.5 million, and with 9 remaining, everyone's now locked up 28k. Make it to 4th, you've got more than 100 grand. 211k for the runner-up. The winner is going to get $381,030. That's in 2009 money. To translate that to 2021, it's about 10 bits of coin. Unless the price has changed in the last hour. It may have gone up, it may have gone down. Not sure what Elon Musk has been tweeting over the course of the last few hours. But this promises a lot. Let's hope it delivers. We've got about an hour of action left to play from the final table of this LAPT event. Let's get to it.
A highly tense moment straight away off the bat. Nobody making any noise.
So there is the guy that the locals are supporting. He is from Mar del Plata. Leo Fernandez from the Argentinian capital, Buenos Aires. Dominic Nitscher has flown over from Germany, comes into this final table as the chip leader, just 18 years old.
To be 18 in German.
Yeah. I pay a little bit more to be 21, actually.
Yeah.
Look at that. They put out seating for the audience, Fintan. It's like they've gone to the theatre.
The glory days, man. The thing back then was, obviously with these slower structures, with these faster structures and lower stack depths, you do see a lot more action. Whereas today, if you have like a mad deep final table, it might not be the most exciting thing to watch for the whole time being there. Obviously, when you do it online, you can see the cards, it's amazing. But watching cards down coverage can sometimes be a little bit tough. But back then, when the people were just all in every couple of hands, you get to sweat it, you get to chant, I would have been there.
Yeah. And of course, it's worth saying that there was no live stream from this event. So you want to watch the final table, you've got to be there. You've got to be in the room. The room where it happened. Nacho Barbero has opened with 5-4 suited, and that looks like a call on the button from Awad.
Tenía 170, ¿no?
Sí.
Or maybe it is a re-raise.
Sounds like a man putting on a little bit of pressure.
Barbero lets it go. The first hand of the day won by Rodolfo Awad.
Looks in legitimate pain that had to fold the 5-4 suited.
Can't believe I didn't call it.
think Nacho may be one of the shortest stacks at this 9-handed final table. King 8 suited for Leo Fernandez. He folds. Derek Lerner lets it go. Pocket fives.
No puedo.
Sergio Farias.
Ah, charango lo sale en la televisión. Ven que después te voy a agarrar y te voy a ir a buscar.
Tengo, José.
Raises. And Nacho's got ace king.
I would guess on a final table we don't get it all in with the fives, but I have guessed wrong many times so far today.
Well, Barbero is all in and is not that deep.
Big raise, instant all in.
Oh, word. This could be a major friendly fire incident. Argentina versus Argentina. Big all in with the first hands of the final table.
Pago.
And Farias is called.
Ow. It's not the hand you want to see when you get called with the ace king. I would call it a fake flip. Probably shouldn't have happened, but here we are.
Bien, ahí está. Bien, suerte. No, yo no tengo nada para jugar.
5 on the flop. However, the gut shot straight draw for Nacho.
For the 5 in the window, it's a pretty good board. For ace king. Club.
Barbero needs a jack to survive. We are going to be down to 8 players early doors.
Nacho Barbero is the first player out of the final table. The Farias fans go wild. That 9th place finish worth $28,220.
I guess we could be in for an action-packed final table if these are the kind of hands that are not going to be folding.
Absolutely, folding is boring. Veronica de Bull raising the action. Very good friends with Leo Fernandez.
Are we about to see our first look of Dom getting involved on the FT with the ace-5?
Jorge Landazuri with 10-8 of spades.
Looks like just seeing a flop.
Always see a flop.
But it's going to be heads up against what I assume are the 2 youngest players on this FT.
Okay, well, nothing for Landazuri to be excited about.
Seems like a reasonable spot to start checking. So Landazori with the 10 high is going to be trying to take this pot off Dominic.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Interesting turn. Landazori turning not only a straight draw, but a flush draw.
Oh, wow. Equity has bounced up to 21%.
Okay. I check. Okay.
Does not get there, however.
If we do see a bet from Dom, I'm gonna guess it will be reasonably small, but likely to be checked.
And he's going to increase his chip lead at this 8-handed final table.
Looks like Landazori wondering if the double barrel attempting to rep the king on the turn would have worked.
Dom getting close to 1 million chips now. Alphonse Fenin, the short stack with 53k. Blinds are now 6,000, 12,000. And there is our shorty. What's he got? Queen 10. Alphonse shoves.
Not left with many options off the short stack. And not going to be getting many folds when you see the jacks on the direct left.
Uh-oh. He's walked into jacks. And prepare for another explosion from the Farias fans inside the poker room if jacks hold here and we have another player eliminated. That eyebrow piercing looks so uncomfortable.
Hey, where fold to queen?
Against like these 3 officers. Applied equity plays first.
Interesting flop. The jack now no longer good for Farias. One card to come. A queen or a jack, or the Farias rail is going to go wild. Would be the second player knocked out on the final table already.
Rick. Alphonse cashes out in 8th, just over 35k. And Farias moves up to 2nd on the leaderboard. I swear there were more of them yesterday, Fintan. Looks like only 4 blokes have shown up for the final table.
I think what's happened there, James, is those gentlemen all look over 30 years old and they clearly have a 3-day hangover and could not make it to the final table. They got a little bit too enthusiastic after their boy made the FT and they're not yet going to be out of bed for a while. Maybe they'll make it if he gets to 4-handed, 3-handed, maybe heads up, but we're going to need a little while.
Super short stack.
Looks like the action's been folded to Dominic Nitscher, who's got 6-5.
28.
Raises on the button. Thank you for verbally announcing your bet, Dominic, because the graphics don't tell us. 28,000 he's made it.
6-5 off, final table Dom. He's not afraid. My eyesight was not quite good enough to catch that. Very dark.
Leo Fernandez, he's for people like you. Amazing. King 4 suited, makes the call.
Looks a bit like Bono. Does that work? Can I have that one?
You can have that. I think Leo Fernandez looks more like Calvin Harris than Bono, but I'll allow it.
Just in that particular shot.
Check.
I'm guessing with 6 high, we're probably going to see Dom putting some chips in here.
And Fernandez folds.
Probably like queen 8 offsuit. I'm going with it.
I wish I had queen 8 offsuit.
There.
That is in a kind of tricky spot with a few short stacks, even though might be tempted to not fold. You got to be scared of the crazy German kid who's willing to barrel.
Adolfo Awad only plays jacks.
How much you got behind?
Between 185 and 195.
No, it's not.
Sure. Between 185 and 195.
No, no,
King, queen, suited. Wow, folded. Now pocket threes for Landazuri. It's a call.
Cards. Ten
for deuce. Jack's still way ahead.
I feel like that was almost an identical board today.
46.
Mike McDonald versus Jamie Gold. Pocket trees, pocket jacks. Oh, we see the same fireworks.
Si bajo limpago.
Sounds mucho bueno.
And Azuri folds the flop. Wad wins the pot. Breyer says, I wish the dealers could spread out the flop smoothly. It kind of looks like it's vomited out. It has been disturbing me, bothering me, tilting me for the duration of this broadcast. Thank you for noticing. Alas, 12 years later, there's not a lot I can do about it. Thanks to the evolution of CGI and digital effects, we were able to correct the dealing of every single flop on this LAPT show.
I could see that happening down the line.
Jesus Christ, I'd hope we put our resources into a better area.
Landazuri getting involved.
So Fernandez with the intriguing little card protector has the snowmans. Heads up to the flop. Queen 6 deuce.
Sesenta.
Crucially, 2 spades on board, and Landazuri actually a statistical favourite to win.
Just gonna win on the flop as well.
Folds the 8s. So we had that early drama at Fintan. We had a couple of KOs, and now things getting a little bit cagier.
Yeah, but that can only mean that the average stack with the blinds going up will be going down, and we will see fireworks in the not so distant future. Dom almost certainly going to be getting involved with the ace deuce of hearts, given how wide we've seen him playing as the chip leader.
The strawberries.
Pago.
And Landazuri calling with king 7.
Are we blind versus blind, or is this the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen?
I think it may be blind v blind. Well, I think that flop raise is going to bring this hand to a conclusion.
I fold.
So obviously a lot of focus on whether a player from Argentina can win the Argentinian leg of the LAPT. We've established that Leo Fernandez is from Buenos Aires and Sergio Farias is from Mar del Plata, where this tournament is being played. It's the grand final of season 2 of the LAPT.
All in.
This final table played on the 18th of April 2009, and Derek Lerner all in with king 9.
Oh, tomorrow's actually 100.
Against DJK on. Against DJK on.
Lerner, who has been one of the more vocal players
Okay, my friend. The fart's okay.
at the table. All in with a pretty bang average hand.
One
Is.
is terrible.
Gonna get it through with the king 9 though.
Jack 6.
Oops. It was good.
Jack 6, is that?
Jack 6. Oops.
I would call.
My favorite lie ever on the rail. I don't know if you remember it, but back in the day when Darvin Moon lied to his own wife about how the hand went down. He walked over during the coverage and just completely lied to her. It was like, I can't remember if he was bluffing or value betting, but just flat out lies to your wife.
Do you think it was a genuine lie, or do you think it was a misremembered hand history?
Oh, it was absolutely a lie.
Okay.
What do you think? Yeah. Try to do the best. 200.
Sergio opening here with queens, and yep,
69.
the biggest of slicks.
220,000.
It's a re-raise to 220,000.
Which I assume, given the average stack and the stacks of the table, is essentially an all-in.
Well, these are the two big stacks at the table. Dominic started this hand with 895k, Sergio Farias with 753k.
Oh.
Call.
Sergio just calls, no re-raise.
How much you get behind? Like 300? 60, 20.
This is a pretty huge pot. 465,000 chips.
160.
I tell you
Larger
what,
pot than a lot of the stacks at the table.
and there is one guy on Sergio's rail who's getting very, very sweaty. Well, Farias, we can see, is a 3-1 favourite. Hearts not actually a factor, but any chance Dom can blow him off? There's shoves on him. Moves all in on the flop with ace-king high.
That is just to confirm, that's 3 hearts on the flop and Dom has no hearts.
Correct.
Just making sure. Okay,
Yep.
just making sure.
Yep. Look at sweaty guy on the left.
Oh my god. Farias obviously with the opportunity to have a monster chip lead and over 1 million in chips. Wow.
Folds the best hand. Folds as a 74% favorite.
I see a black ace king.
And shows it. They're not cheering now.
He says, oh. Bring it on. That's strong. Yeah.
Oh,
Ni un corazón. Ni un corazón yo tampoco.
You like ice cream or something?
Un corazón quería, no.
I swear. That's what I was thinking.
Pretty tough spot. I know it looks easy when you see the ace king with no heart on the punt from Dom. But queens in that situation, a legitimate tough spot. Look at those stacks.
Yeah.
You call, you lose the majority of your chips in that situation. Even if you're against ace king with a heart, you're not in the best of shape. You can be against aces no heart, kings no heart. It's actually not the craziest fold, in my opinion. Farias was ahead of his time.
Well, you saw the stacks. Dominic Nitcher now with a huge chip lead, 1.1 million. Farias still number 2 in chips, but with less than half of that. And Derek Lerner clinging on with 100k. Blinds now 8,000, 16,000. Derek. Ace 8 of spades.
100,000.
Lerner all in as the shortest stack remaining on this final table.
Oh dear. Rodolfo, jacks twice, queens once. Those are the 3 hands we've seen in play. Derek Lerner
When he
at
calls,
risk.
hope he didn't have an ace. I kind of feel sick right now. I don't really. I mean, it's just I have to do that.
Well, there's an 8, 1 spade. It's not a disaster.
Pretty good flop overall. Still got to be pretty happy with your queens though.
Bam. Bam.
Okay,
That's a
that
GG.
does bring a premature end to proceedings, and that will see Derek Lerner eliminated in 7th place. Cashes for nearly 50,000 US dollars. And the Canadians KO takes us down to the final 6.
Kings now a
still
short stack.
such a massive chip lead.
Over 2x that of second place.
How do you say million in Spanish?
If he avoids punting it off with ace king
Million?
yet again,
That's what I
probably
got.
in a pretty good position to close this tournament out.
Dominic with aces.
The rich get richer.
Come
Him in the hall with the aces, the classic.
Leo Fernandez has got kings. Oof.
That is a disgusting cooler on this final table. Let's see who does the Hollywood in better.
GG, Fernandez.
All in.
Yeah, Fernandez shoves. Players still to act.
How good does Dom run?
Fold from the button. Fold from a wad in the small blind. It is Sergio Farias in the big blind, who's got tens.
Oh no, this could be absolute mayhem. A very tough spot with the tens. It is only
Why is this taking so long?
a small enough shove.
There's another player.
Yeah, I know.
Why is this taking so long?
God, you always take so long.
He's goading him.
All in.
He talks him into it.
Oh my days.
I'm all in. I got the aces.
If aces
Oh,
hold,
dummy boy.
it's a double KO, and like Nietzsche has like all the chips.
I've got the aces. Don't have the manners though, do you, Dom?
3 all in.
Yeah.
Sí, pagó un par de as el alemán.
Is there any
Sorpresa en el flop.
dramatic justice in the world?
Podría caer un 10 en el
Will we see a 10?
Oh yeah, I got you all dominated.
Dominate the color.
Oh, that's cool.
Maybe
Oh, papá.
flash.
Además no hay color. El as.
Yes. These are hard.
Oh, it's looking good for Nietzsche. Near enough 80% equity.
Huh?
2 players set to go broke here. Oh, hang on.
Arias with a few extra outs. A 9, a 10, or a king are the cards that Dom needs to avoid to have all of the chips.
No hay escalera.
Black too.
What do you reckon, sweaty guy? Is your buddy Farias going to get there on the river?
Con un 9 o un 10.
No. Aces hold. Double bust out.
Tremenda mano.
Leo Fernandez out in 6th.
I won the 1,000.
Buen torneo, ¿ah?
And Sergio Farias out in 5th. The final 4 all guaranteed 100 grand. And how many chips does Dominic Nietzsche have now? Near enough 2 million?
Must be close to 60, 70% of the chips in play, four-handed.
And looking at the remaining players, I don't fancy their chances.
Given their facial expressions, and they both, or sorry, the 3 of them had all got double ladders, they didn't look too happy about the situation.
It's like, I'm going to sit here and ladder to 3rd. I'm going to sit here and ladder to 2nd. No one is thinking about anything else right now because it looks like Dominic Nietzsche has a stranglehold on this tournament as we reach the midway point of this final table of the LAPT Grand Final from back in 2009. Fintan, I mentioned this week's podcast, which came out today, obviously a couple of weeks ago. You guessed it on the show. We did our scoop recap and we talked about your win. We talked about your near miss in the final weekend of the series. Next week, Tonka is going to make his debut appearance on the show. We've never had Parker on the podcast, so we're going to get the Tonka life story on Poker in the Ears. I'm sure that'll be a fun one. In future weeks, we're going to do another movie review. Every now and then, Joe and I will unearth a poker-themed movie or a film with a tenuous connection to poker that we decide to review. And coming up in a couple of weeks, there is a film called 5 Card Stud from 1968. It's a Western where players in a poker game are being killed off one by one, and it's a detective mystery to find out who's doing it. I've never seen it. It's a classic that I've never seen, so I'm really looking forward to that one. And a film was put on my radar today. A film that I'm not looking forward to seeing because by all accounts it's bloody awful, but I think it has to be reviewed on the show because it involves a poker game being played in the sky. It's a film called Money Plane, starring Kelsey Grammer and some wrestler. And it looks terrible, but sometimes we do like to get to grips with a bad poker movie.
I mean, I can't say much about not watching. I don't watch too many movies, but the one where they're shooting them all off and killing off players one by one, that's the highest stakes poker game that's ever been played.
And it was played back in the Wild West. So yeah, Tonka on next week's show, 5 Card Stud coming up, and Money Plane is definitely on our radar. Might not get to it till the autumn, but clearly there is another poker-themed movie out there which needs to be seen. And look, regular listeners to the podcast must realize that there can't be anything worse than Danny's Game, which we reviewed in recent months. So back to the final table of the LAPT Season 2 Grand Final from Mar del Plata in Argentina. We are back in the year 2009. We've got 4 players competing for a second prize of $211,700 because it looks almost assured right now that Dominic Nitscher is going to win this thing. He has got 1.9 million chips, Fintan, and certainly has his eyes on that massive glass trophy and the first prize of $381K.
I want to ask one question about your movies, not the poker movies in particular, but when you call a movie a classic, are you referring to an era of movies, or do you consider it to be, like, because when I say classic, I consider it to be like the best movies kind of ever made, but do you consider a classic just to be, say, from like before the 70s or something?
I sometimes throw the word around too loosely. I think it's a classic should refer to a film which is from an older era, but is also very, very good. Yeah. Not all films from the 1960s are classics, and I shouldn't really brand this one a classic because I haven't seen it.
Casablanca, though, classic.
Absolutely.
My only movie that I've probably ever watched from that era, but I do want to watch more of them.
How soon until we reach the stage where Dominic just starts open jamming on the rest of the players?
All I can say is, given his demeanor as he's got more and more chips, I won't be surprised if he ruffles a few feathers in this four-handed battle.
I'm going to say something controversial here, by the way, in reaction to Lackey's comment, as we see Dominic raise and take it with 10-5 offsuit there. Shawshank Redemption is a good film. And that's as far as it goes. It has become so overrated in the last decade. It has been put on a pedestal it does not deserve to be on. And again, I reiterate, it is a very good film. But it's not as good as people say it is.
Gladiator a classic when we were talking off air at one point a few weeks or maybe months ago. And you did say to me that you couldn't yet class it as a classic because it was still too new. But it's like getting on.
It's getting on.
Like that.
It's getting there.
It's getting on.
Now, I'm going to quote Joe Stapleton here, so don't shoot the messenger. Joe Stapleton says that Shawshank Redemption is the favourite film of people who don't really know about films.
Hi, Cole.
Final movie thing. I didn't say Casablanca was from the 60s. I just said from that kind of era. Back in the day. Black and white era to me, it's all the same year.
I mean, the 60s and the 30s and the 40s, very different eras, Fintan. But anyway, ultimately, films that were made before you were born. I get it. I get it. We have got Dominic with Jack 4, Landazuri with Queen 9.
That's the best flop we've seen. That was right up there.
Just to be clear, we're not talking about the actual value of the cards. We're talking about the dealing of the cards.
We got the top dealers in
25.
for the final, and we're gonna see great flops from here on out.
I mean, how does Dominic lose this? I mean, wielding that monster stack. Stalking Geek says, James, give us your top 5 movies with Morgan Freeman. Look, I guarantee you Shawshank's going to be in that top 5, but I also guarantee you that both Unforgiven and Seven are ahead of Shawshank on that list.
Do you know, I seen Seven on the recommendation of Benjamin Sprague, and it was before Joe Stapleton gave me a little pep talk and told me that I need to get over this thing where movies need to wrap up in a way that I really enjoy and just enjoy the movie for what it is and don't be as concerned about the end. Because I used to watch movies and if the end like just wasn't perfect in my mind, I'd be like, that was a terrible movie. And obviously that's like not reasonable. But I didn't enjoy Seven. But if I watched it again, I think maybe I would. It's like Fight Club, obviously great, and people built up that ending to me so much, and I didn't know what it was. I hadn't been spoiled, even though I watched it, whatever, 15, 20 years late. Still, just people built it up for me too much. Sorry if I've lost some friends. Sorry if James thinks less of me. It's hard for James to think less of me when it comes to my my movie knowledge, but I might have just stepped in it a little bit. Look at those flops, though.
Endings are hard. Maybe they flew someone in for the final table. Maybe it's like, we've got to get these flops better.
Looks like Dom is just going to be applying pressure as the big stack here. Oh, sorry, did I get confused?
Full.
Oh, look. Landazuri manages to win a hand. The crowd applauds because someone other than Dominic Nitscher just won a hand. We had Alex Brenners in the field earlier, and there is his brother Umberto. The shark is hungry!
One of the greatest entertainers of all time on the poker tables.
Still the monster chip lead for Dominic Nitscher with 4 players remaining at this final table. We're at the 8,000, 16,000 blind level, which basically means Dominic has a playable stack and everyone else is all in or fold. Nice to see Gordon Ramsay made the flight to Argentina for this final table. The shove gets through.
No round of applause this time.
Gordon loves it.
That's a reach. But you give me some absolutely horrendous shouts, so I gotta give it to you.
You have to remember, bad lookalikes just have to suggest the person. They shouldn't actually look like them.
Okay. You shouldn't have told me that, because now I'm going to be thrown out even more.
That to me looks like a wrestler. I don't do wrestling.
Need to fly spry game for that one.
It is, I'm not going to call it a sport. It is a form of entertainment that I will never be able to understand.
Pago.
Well, another solid pocket pair for Rodolfo Awad. Opens with 9s. Landazuri in with 6-4. And it's a pair of 4s versus a set of 9s.
42.
Yes, John Delano. That is a good bad lookalike. Awad, Armando Santi. I like it. You can stay.
I would strongly suggest just call in with the 9s.
No, he's moved all in. Can't hear you, Fintan. This was 12 years ago. You're not calling with a 4. Delpho, 368,000. Oh my word.
What a dream spot to find yourself in, though.
Yeah.
For real.
Wow. An alarm just went off because Awad is raising without a pocket pair. Ace-10.
Has been quite snug so far. But ace-10, pretty big hand. Four-handed. Will we see
¿Cuánto más es?
any action from the king-jack?
Pago.
I'm loving the out-of-context people on the rail. I'm not sure if that woman is in some way related to Landazuri or Awad. Let's just say she has an emotional investment in the outcome of this hand. I think we can say that with some certainty.
46 igual.
Thank you, Dominic. That woman is Landazuri's mother. It's Mrs. Landazuri.
Here's Dom.
All in.
I would really, really... I mean, number one, the chance of making a final table, Fintan, are obviously incredibly, incredibly slim. My chance of getting my mother to come and watch that final table are bordering on impossible.
I'll tell you right now, if I ever made a major final table and it was down in Australia and my mum thought she could make it for the next day, she'd be there. She is my biggest fan when it comes to poker.
Fold.
By far.
Show ice trail diamonds. And you win this.
And Azuri playing just over 500,000 chips. Meanwhile, with a gazillion chips, Dominic Nitscher.
RS.
No kidding. Jack 8.
Pretty sure Dom's just raising every opportunity that's folded to him.
I'm struggling to remember a single hand that Jason Skeens has actually played at this final table.
All in.
All in.
Here we go.
How much more?
Not with the monster hands now. Jack 10 suited, pulling the trigger.
¿Cuánto tiene?
Had enough of Dom's raising every hand.
Stick it in his eye. Well, Hippie H's theory is that Jason Skeens is climbing the ladder, possibly applying Waisiel's theorem, something that was created at the last LAPT event and is now commonly referred to as ICM. It was Ron Waisiel who created the concept of laddering at that event in Uruguay. Over the years, sadly, no one credits him anymore. And very few people still refer to it as Waisiel's theorem.
Jason down to 160,000 chips. Dom really does just get to open close to any two cards in this situation with players not really playing back too often. Even though we've seen the Jack 10 shove there, it has not happened too frequently.
All in.
Wait.
This is not applying Waisiel's theorem. You don't.
Excuse me?
With 6 deuce if you're trying to ladder.
You know what? For a second, James, I forgot that we were playing poker and it was 2009. Things have been looking a little bit too normal there for a little while.
I call.
Ever since that King 10 versus King Queen hand pre-final table, it's kind of just been a reasonable FT. But we have just seen 6 deuce off shoved on the button. I guess this was back in the day when you would hear people saying, I need 2 cards, 10 big blinds, on the button they go in.
Well, it's not about playing the cards, Fintan, it's about playing the player. And clearly he stared down a wad and thought he could get a fold here. It was a bad read.
I had like 8 big blinds.
Oh, no, don't explain it. don't explain it, Skins. Don't do it. Jason, just keep your mouth quiet. You thought you'd pocket 6s. Not the man that's used to playing 200 big blind cash. And 8 big blinds, you know. Any 2 will do.
If anyone's making notes, by the way, shoving with 8 big blinds with 6 deuce off, not optimal. King 9-4.
Diamond.
Vamos. No hay nada que hacer.
Well, I was like, no diamond, no sweats. Ace.
¿Con qué gana? Con nada. No hay nada que hacer. Ok. Ah, es 3.
5 will do it.
No.
Ace. 1 ace.
Don't call for the ace when you're ahead. Please do not punish it.
Never call for outs when you're ahead. You fool, a wad. You fool. But does not get punished. Ace high holds and 6 deuce doesn't get there. Should have applied Waisiel's theorem, Jason. Mr. Skeens eliminated in 4th place, cashing out for $105,860, taking us down to the final 3.
Good to see that those disgusting coolers happen in live poker as well as online. 6 deuce versus the A7 on the FT.
How does 6 deuce not get there? So rigged. Trophy, stars, roses, big monies, all up for grabs on the LAPT. And Dominic Nitscher with close to 2 million chips. Jorge Landazuri playing 535,000. Rodolfo Awad playing 428,000.
Given the chip stack that Dom has, it would be quite the disaster if he somehow does not close it out here. I'm gonna look up Dominic Niche. I wanna work out exactly
No spoilers, no spoilers.
No. I wanna look how old he would have been here.
He's 18.
I know, but I wanna know how freshly 18.
¿Cuánto?
40.000 es la apuesta.
Fold.
Los jugadores. Una flop.
Doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. Oh, come on, man.
You could have just asked him, Fintan, rather than using the internet. Dominic confirms he turned 18 6 months before this tournament.
$32,000
apuestas.
Landazuri not exactly exuding confidence right now.
Dom reaching for chips.
Yeah.
Instantly.
I don't think it's going on a limb here to say that Landazuri is not winning this pot.
Nice play by Dom.
Oof. Yes, Dominic did show the Jack-6 there. Now has more than 2 million chips. Still 3 players remaining.
Definitely a Benny Spindler fan. Didn't Benny always have the hoodie up?
No, it would have messed with his beautiful hair. Pocket 9s for Landazuri. Rodolfo Awad with the sailboats.
All in. All in.
Awad shoves. Dominic folds. Landazuri calls, and this could be the end of Rodolfo Awad.
We do not see a 4. We are going to be heads up. Awad has had a lot of pairs on this final table, and to be honest, they've treated him pretty well. First time he's got it in behind with a worse pair, though.
Solo el 4 de corazones, el otro no.
Good luck, man.
El de diamante no lo quiero.
So are we about to go heads up here in Argentina? in April 2009. Awad at risk and behind. But there's a 4 on the flop.
Heartbreak for Landazuri. Gonna need to find a re-bink. They're gonna be incredibly short.
Ace on the turn, and Awad 95% favorite to double up here. Just has to fade 2 cards. Only a 9 on the river would eliminate him. Nine!
Oh my God!
A 2 outer, but crucially, the best hand wins. And Rodolfo Awad exits in third, eliminated, cashing for $141,000. And yes, we are heads up. Dominic Nitsche will have better than a 2-1 chip lead over Jorge Landazuri.
That was a very expensive river card for Awad. Wow.
Mexico versus Germany as they go heads up at the LAPT Season 2 Grand Final at the Mar del Plata Resort in Argentina. Dominic Nitsche with a significant advantage. Favorite to win that trophy, and the first prize of $381,000, $211K to the runner-up. I have to say, Mrs. Landazuri looks so stressed.
Pretty decent situation for your kid. Already locked up hundreds of thousands of dollars playing for a title. Not too bad.
Pago.
King Jack versus Jack 5. Going to the flop, which is King 9-8. So top pair for Dominic Nitsche and 97% equity. Landazuri checks. Dom bets.
Not a whole lot going on here for Landazuri heads up.
What did he say?
Raise is my guess.
Why?
I guess there's a backdoor straight draw going on here. There's also the ability to stand up and scream, "I'm the table captain now," if you win the first hand of heads up.
15. I call.
Pretty substantial pop. 364,000 in the middle. I think Landazuri playing about 1 million chips, maybe slightly less.
Okay,
Oh, this could be
8,
trouble.
9, 10, Jack. Yes, does have the straight draw. Should point out that Dominic Nitsche has the same straight draw.
Subo.
And Landazuri's not slowing down.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to check raise with Jack 5 on King 9-8 and you turn a 10, I guess you kind of got to continue telling your story, but just going to find yourself in a situation where you're in really bad shape quite often. A lot of pair plus straight draws. A lot of times you could be even, you know, as we are here, drawing to the chop.
Best comment ever from future Dominic. I can't believe he's punting like this with his own mother watching in the crowd. King on the river, trips for Nietzsche. Landazuri, just check. Let's go home.
There's no way. First hand of heads up that we see, we're going to see the all-in, is there?
Oh my God, he shoves!
Oh.
All-in bluff with Jack High, called by Trip Kings, and it is over, and we have our winner. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how Dominic Nietzsche won the LAPT Season 2 Grand Final in Argentina and scored 381k at 18 years of age. Jorge Landazuri from Mexico, the runner-up.
Oh, his mum looks so disgusted. She can't believe he did it.
Second place, 211,700. Oh, and Dominic now has to have a conversation with Umberto Brenes. That's the real prize.
Yeah, right.
Leave them alone. Umberto, stop touching them. Look at the writing on that check. Come on. Production values, people. I forget. It was 2009, but seriously, congratulations to Dominic Nietzsche. And it's always a great experience when we do these retro streams, Fintan, where we have a player who is in the event, who is at the final table, actually in the chat. So thank you, Dominic, for watching along with us. Thank you for your running commentary, apart from the few occasions when you spoilt it. But I hope you enjoyed the experience as well, Fintan, of looking back at a tour that maybe we haven't given a lot of attention to over the years and watching some old school poker from that part of the world.
I absolutely loved it. Honestly, pre-final table, the all-in shoves blinds, some of the crazy folds, it really did feel like 2009. And it was kind of getting away from that for a while. Like the FT was pretty solid. There wasn't too much madness.
Yeah.
But then, of course, we've seen the shove with the 6 deuce off. We've seen all of the big blinds put in the first hand of heads up. So all I can say is that it was lovely to get a throwback to 2009. I wish there was more mad rails and just less ICM and more madness on FTs.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to watch and it's a lot of fun to see, and it's nice to see that even the weaker players can win events sometimes like Dom. So
yeah, we say the same thing every single week, and of course retro does continue next week because we'll be moving on to season 3 of the Latin American Poker Tour. Before I get into that though, Fintan, when are you next going to be online? Are you streaming tonight?
I'm going to play the Thursday Trill and the 5:30 Benny Builder, and if I get knocked out of them, I am going to just play some cash games because I owe some hours to the stream after having a 3-day hangover and no hours lately. So yeah, I'm going to hop on the stream the next 20-30 minutes or so.
Fantastic. So switch over to twitch.tv/easywithaces very soon. Just a reminder, guys, that there is no 2-day Sunday Million this week. That means there'll be no stream on Monday night. In fact, that's going to be the case for the next 3 weeks. But we still have new episodes of the Poker in the Ears podcast coming out every Thursday. A reminder that next week's episode is going to feature Tonka. The latest episode featuring filmmaker Ryan Firpo is out now. And of course, we'll be back next Thursday with another episode of PokerStars Retro. Joe will be back on the stream, but I can't thank you enough, Fintan. Always a pleasure hanging out with you. Thank you for joining me today. But for now, from both Fintan and me, James Hartigan, it's goodbye. Thanks for watching.